abundance of salutations to our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You're tuned into the BU4U Show with myself, Mehrimia, coming to you live from Pietermaritzburg on 105.6 FM. If you're in Durban and surrounds, you're listening to me on 90.4 FM. And wherever you are in the world, and if you're live streaming through to us, we extend to you a very warm welcome. The show is exactly what it's called. It's about you. It is for you, and of course for the best of each one of us to become even better and live that best for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before I continue, as I always do, shout out goes out to Brother Kumalo here. Thank you so much for what you're doing, your tech in PMB, and of course my amazing brothers Boo there in Durban. Text run bus. Without them, you won't be hearing me. So I appreciate you guys so much. In today's program, we are looking at GBV, the U factor. Very, very important discussion, and it's coming at a point where we really, really need to realize what's happening. The awareness is necessary, and the discussion points will be necessary, inshallah. But before we continue with the program, let's give it our salawat. Stay tuned.
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Oh my Lord, my sins are like the highest mountain. My good deeds are very few, they're like a small pebble. I turn to you, my heart full of shame, my eyes full of tears. Bestow your forgiveness and mercy upon me. Ya Allah, send your peace and blessings on the final prophet and his family and companions and those who follow him.
This segment is brought to you by Kenfield Auto, your RMI approved service and repair specialist. 236 Brickfield Road, Overport.
Kenfield Auto.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار.
Car won't start.
Can feel auto.
Noisy brakes.
Can feel auto.
Due for a service.
Can feel auto. Can feel auto. The answer to all your car problems. Your service and repair specialist for your VW, Audi, Suzuki, Toyota, or just about any vehicle. Can feel auto. Your RMI and insurance approved workshop. Follow the red and white board in the passage at 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Call Shafi on 031 207 2399. Can feel auto.
Durban, are you ready to shop till you drop? The Durban Shopping Festival is back from the 3rd to 6th of April at the Durban Exhibition Centre, bringing you 4 days of incredible shopping and unbelievable deals. And this year, it's all about the deals. Discover fashion steals, beauty must-haves, home decor, delicious food, and so much more. Whether you're a bargain hunter or treating yourself, this is where the best finds are waiting. Don't miss the shopping event everyone's going to talk about. The Durban Shopping Festival. Shop more, save more, enjoy more. Durban's greatest shopping event of the year.
Save the date. Hajj Seminar 2026 is back. Saturday, 11th April, 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at 207 West Road in Overport. Proudly brought to you by the Al Ansar Foundation and the Capital Group of Companies.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban, South Africa.
Of the day.
You're listening to a live broadcast from Radio Al Ansar, Pietermaritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for joining us, and we are really, really honored to have each of you with us. You're tuned to the BU4U Show with myself, Mehrimia, and coming to you live from Pietermaritzburg on 105.6 FM. And again, if you're in Durban and surrounds, you're listening to us on 90.4 FM. Today we are talking GBV. We are talking the U factor about it. Before I continue, though, let me just tell you, about half an hour ago, there was something that came out from our police here, and I'm going to read it out to you, and then you can maybe understand why this topic is even more important for us to have a discussion on today. It says here, "Dear community, it is with great concern that over the past 3 days, our policing area has experienced a spike in domestic violence-related incidents. Our major concern is that the victims of these incidents are elderly women, and the injuries inflicted have been of a very serious nature. We appeal to the community to intervene safely when you hear people screaming for help. Such intervention could save a life. Let us not wait for a fatal attack before we act. As the Mountain Rise CPF, we are committed to creating a safe environment. However, we depend on a vigilant community to report incidents as soon as possible. Let us all join hands and fight the spike in domestic violence to break the silence. Thank you, Mountain Rise CPF." So that is from them. And one of the other guests that was supposed to be here was Mr. Sham Governor, who is the chair of that CPF. And of course, you can imagine how hectic they are right now. So I do understand him not being here. His apology is tendered and accepted. And we hope and we pray that every one of them can do what they have to do, you know, and keep it safe for themselves as well. So in studio with me, though, I do have somebody who's a legend in my book. She's a sister I've worked with for years, and I think this is an overdue discussion, but I know that she's impacted the community. Sister Linda Mtshali, welcome to the BU4U Show on Radio Al Ansar.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Let me tell you all about her and why she's here, okay? Linda Mtshali is a formidable community activist. She's a philanthropist and a relentless voice for the voiceless based in Pietermaritzburg. As the founder of the Walker Mile Foundation, Linda has turned personal tragedy into a powerful catalyst for social change, specifically in the fight against gender-based violence. Her journey into advocacy was sparked by a harrowing personal experience involving a violent attack on her and her sister. In the face of a justice system that she felt failed her family, Linda chose to become a warrior for others. Today, she is widely recognized for her hands-on approach to community building, earning nominations for prestigious honors such as the Best GBV Ambassador and Best Community Builder at the National annual GBV Awards, nomination in the Activist Awards, and recently nominated for an international award. Congratulations, my sister. Well done. Beyond her work with survivors, Linda's philanthropic reach is diverse and deeply practical. Her initiatives include a nutritional support program, educational upliftment, and of course, civic leadership, where she serves as the chairperson on both the Woodlands Ratepayers and Residents Associations, of course, the Mtshali Association of Residents, Ratepayers, and Civics, and of course, the Woodlands Ratepayers Residents Association as well. With a professional background in media studies, public relations, and marketing, Linda leverages her expertise to manage her own firm, which is Nubia Communications, while remaining a steadfast advocate for systemic change and the empowerment of the vulnerable. She joins us today to share her story of resilience and, of course, her vision for a very much more just society that is very needed, of course. So let's tap into it, Linda. Firstly, welcome again and congratulations on all those achievements. I know they came with a lot of hard work and, of course, many initiatives that you put out there. Right now, I have to say, though, listening to what Sham and I spoke about a few days ago and some of the things that happened, I'm going to say to all of you very quickly before I go into the discussion with Linda, about, say, an hour or so ago, and Linda, you can, I'll talk to you about this as well. I got a call, and from yesterday, I think, say, if I give you a random call time, from yesterday, say around 2:30 p.m., up until today, say 12:30 p.m., I have had at least seven GBV matters, right? And that came to the surface. And the saddest thing for me was the reality behind them. Yes, like you heard in the message that I relayed to you, majority were elderly women. The scary part was some of those people became victims, but at the hand of their child. And that's something we will touch on a little bit later as well. But what's even worse is that nothing is wanting to be done about those children by the parent. And then we look at this and I say to myself, it's not just about the GBV anymore. I think it's more, and I've done this before when I did the GBV thing a few years ago. I changed that V into violation. So it's not just gender-based violence anymore. For me, it's a violation. You violate me, whether it is mentally, physically, economically, emotionally, whatever it is that you are doing. If it violates me, it is a violation against me. And before that violation becomes the violence is when we need to tap into what we can do about it. So the stats are horrendous, Linda. It's become something that is, what do we do anymore? And right now, I think in the past 3 weeks with everything that's come up, even in the newspapers with the people, you've seen this monster has suddenly taken huge life. And that's where we got to talk about and say, what exactly are we doing? What are we doing? And that's why today is all about the U factor. Because I'm not talking about what CPF is doing, what SAPS is doing anymore. We have these discussions all the time. I want to talk about you. And for us to delve into that anymore, let's talk about firstly you, Linda. Linda has got this passion. And like I mentioned in her bio, there was an issue with her sister that had happened. And I know that story. It broke me when I heard it. But that she's turned that into something that made her that powerhouse for her sister is amazing. So tell us, Linda, what drives that passion that you have for addressing these GBV matters?
What drives is that I've walked the journey, and for me, it's to give back, to help you, because everybody needs that assistance, everybody needs that assurance, and a hand that I know for sure that I am safe in these hands. Unfortunately, in previous cases, and especially with a lot of victims that have succumbed to GBV, they haven't had that safe space. They haven't had somebody to journey with them. We're always afraid of, and we've always said, be careful of who you talk to and don't just tell people your business because your business is going to be out there. So we've become such a society where people are now afraid to talk because instead of helping me and walk this journey with me, you're now going to talk about me and I become a laughing stock in the community. So having walked that journey, I've now decided that, okay, fine. And it was also part of my healing to say that I'm now going to be the change that I had hoped would have been there for my sister.
Absolutely. I love that. I love when she says, be the change, because that's what we're always trying to say to everybody. One of the things we empower people with is to do that. If you want to see the shift, it's got to be from you first. So when we're talking about this, we talk about the change. But like I said, in the examples I've given you now, that societal shift is something that we're not seeing. It's actually growing a monster and getting worse and worse by the day. So if we're talking about societal norms and the power dynamics that contribute to this GBV, how do we even challenge them? I mean, right now, if we have to talk about what I'm saying, we got kids. And I'm saying kids because it doesn't matter how old you are. You're the child to this parent, and that you have that okay in your mind to hurt your mother to a point of where your mother is screaming beyond screaming and then has no life, and somebody has to break down a door, for example, to get in there and try and pull them. Whatever it is, your neighbors hear this all the time, right? And then this person is the victim. We go there, we want to help you, we want to make you heal. And one of the words we would say to this person is, you're going to be okay. It's okay. He's taken into custody. And then you watch this person come alive again and, no, don't harm him. Of course, it's a maternal instinct, right? It's mommy that's talking because that's my child. But Linda, this parent is fueling and feeding that behavior. And then we wonder, why do the neighbors have this mentality of, I'm not getting involved? Or family backs off because they say, when I get involved, then suddenly it becomes me that's the bad one because that parent is just always for the child's bad behavior. This is what's happening though, Linda.
Absolutely. I think we need to go back to basics. Years ago, I played basketball, and one of the things that the coach used to always say, if all else fails, go back to basics.
Yes.
And I think that's where we need to go back to, where we had communities where every mother was your mother.
Yes.
You couldn't stand around the corner and smooch or smoke.
Yes.
Because
the community was your family.
Exactly. And now we've moved away from that. And I find then that's the reason, one of the reasons why we're in the predicament that we're in.
Yes.
Because as you're saying, once I discipline your child, then you say, listen, why are you disciplining my child? Unfortunately, a lot of the parents work.
Yes.
So when you're at work, your children are at home alone. So it's the parents, the community that it's at home, that are there to safeguard and mother your children. So we're in a conflicted state where we want society to help, but then when we do help, then we have the situation, as you've just now said,
yes,
to say that no. And family then also say, okay, fine, but we've tried to help and we've always become the bad people. So we need to go back to basics and then decide, do we want the help to help our children? Do I want so that while I'm at work, I know my children are okay?
Yes.
And if my children were disciplined, I know it's for a good reason.
And one of the things Linda and I chatted about before we went on air, and I'm going to touch on it now. I know we said we might touch on it later, but when we talk about children, and you've worked in this, and I work in many schools as well. We're seeing something that is just beyond understanding, and that is that, and I'm using this as a hypothetical example, right? We used to see boys, and I'm using this again as an example because there can be girls as well who witness the violence at home. Yes. Who witness, for example, dad hitting mom or mom hitting dad. They see that violence happen. So they see the violation, the quiet violations. They see the swearing. They witness all these things, and then they see that violence. And I remember before, and you can probably agree, that some children who grew up with that actually said to themselves, I am never going to be that.
Absolutely.
I'm never going to allow somebody to hurt me, and I'm not going to hurt people like that. And those children somehow, without coaching, without anybody mentoring them or anything like that, by witnessing that, they decided that their mentality taught them, I'm not going to be that. They're my parents, I love them, and I'm going to motivate myself. I'm going to study, I'm going to do something with my life so that I do not become that. I don't want to. However, nowadays, you can complete the sentence.
Absolutely. But
you're seeing kids that are just okay to do that because I'm seeing it at home. It's okay for me to do it. So a boy child, for example, who watches that at home, brings that into the school environment, complete disrespect for other girls in the school or the female teachers in the school, and it's becoming a nightmare. Where is it going wrong?
Yeah. I keep on reiterating, children live what they learn.
Yes.
So if they learn at home that is a norm, it's okay. And because mom doesn't report it at the police station, so for them it's a norm. So they're going to go out to the schools. More and more we're getting more bullies at schools.
Yes.
But if you look into the background of those bullies, it's actually he's acting out what is happening at home. And because at home it's not curbed, that's the only way that they can actually let it out is by bullying other children.
Yes. So that bullying is actually a cry for help.
No, absolutely. And before we had role models. So if you now look at the role models that the children have nowadays, it's a cry out for help.
It is. It's absolutely. And that's why we got to do what we got to do. This kind of program is necessary because we create the awareness and we make people think about the stuff they ordinarily don't like to think about. We touch on the uncomfortable parts. Linda, tell me, in your field, okay, you work with GBV victims, you create the support structure for them. What are some of the most challenging parts of working with GBV survivors for you?
For me, it's watching a lot of people blame themselves.
Yeah.
Because the abuser will always tell you it is your fault.
Yes.
You made me do it. And I've seen it. I grew up in a home with it.
Yes.
And the victims then tend to believe that
narcissistic trait comes
absolutely
out.
That if I hadn't done this, he wouldn't have done that. And that for me is the saddest part. And also trying to undo that when talking to the victims to say, but don't blame yourself. It is not your fault.
So when we want to support these people to get them into that truth mode of, finding your true self, it becomes even more difficult because the more they try to find one truth, the more the self-doubt kicks in. Why did that happen to me?
Absolutely.
Why did I let that happen to me? And yet you didn't. And many times we know women, for example, will want to stick in a space because they're scared of the failure. They're scared of the stigma, or the family is going to say ABC, or I stay for my kids. It doesn't work like that anymore, because if you don't grow you out of that position, you're going to keep going back there. Absolutely. Like I always say, when we host these workshops and when we do this, like the other one we did when we were together at the last one, it was a vibe. We created that really positive energy for everybody. The women that were there felt good. We created the awareness and whatever. But then you feel that for that moment. But what is the takeaway that you are changing within you when you go back to that space?
Absolutely.
And that uncomfortable thing that I don't want to change this above me, because then what if? The what if is in your hand.
Absolutely.
So when we want to talk about, the men, and I know some men that are victims, mind you. So everyone who's listening to me, don't think I'm negating that. There are men who are victims. There are boys who are victims.
Absolutely.
We just, majority though of the people that I work with are women and the girls. So when we want to engage with the men and the boys in GBV, prevention, awareness efforts, what have you found is happening with that?
One of the things that we've started is trying to create safe spaces, and especially for men and boys, because they need a place to talk. They need a place that is safe.
Yes.
They need a place without us women.
Yes.
So going in there, I don't go in there with a female cap.
Yes.
So that they can now speak as to, okay, fine, I'm doing this because, and lots of times I've now found it's at home when I grew up, my dad did this.
The background.
And as I said earlier on, because it was never reported and because the kids were never shown that it was wrong, because in as much as we're speaking about the men and the boys, girls also grow up that if I do something wrong, my husband or my boyfriend is going to hit me, it's my fault.
Yes.
So, but a lot of times speaking about the boy child and the men, they don't have safe spaces to talk.
Yes.
And when they talk amongst family members, they are laughed at.
Yes.
I know of cases where we've gone to the police station to report and they laughed at him. So that now also builds up this anger.
Yes.
And we're starting to see a lot of suicides as well amongst men, because that's their form of escapism.
Yes.
So it's creating those safe spaces, for them to come in, and you know what? It's completely safe.
Yes.
No
once
judgment.
A week.
No judgment, once a week. And for me, the ultimate goal, if you can gravitate towards somebody that you can open up to, and
Yes.
also see that you're not the only one.
Yes.
All of us that are here are going through stuff which is very similar. We can talk, we can leave here. Next week we'll come back and pick up. So it's not a once-off campaign.
Yes. It's an ongoing
It's an
it's a
ongoing
journey
thing.
on its own, really. It's a healing journey on its own. So the stigma still is there.
Absolutely.
The stigma is there of, when you are doing the wrong, and if I want to admit that I'm doing the wrong, there's a stigma. If I want to change it, there's a stigma. So where is the draw the line for the person? You got to understand that's coming from something that they don't even know how to deal with. They tried, it didn't work. And when they reach out, they're going to be stigmatized for that, even worse. So every one of them, remember, is wanting to see the change. They want to have the change that happened. But like we said, when we look at communities' responses to the GBV, that's also questionable, because we want the shift, we want the change, but the you factor, what we're talking about today, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get involved. Let them do it. There's the march, let them go march. They having that, let them talk about it. Yeah, but it's happening in your home. It's happening in your space. I mean, when I ask some of the parents of kids who are involved in many things, they don't know this about their child. And when they sit there with even a teacher or a principal or someone, or even come to me after I speak to them, they're like, no, that's not my child. Because my child at home is not like that. Yes, they're not like that at home. Ask yourself why. The true child is not your child. And then ask the parent, what is my child's favorite color? What is your favorite color again?
Exactly.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
So the community in itself that you factor over the years is creating more of a shift for us who want to work with it. Because just as we find the solutions to a certain bit of problems, something else is coming up. And right now, that something else is what is driving the force of people to want to hurt and think that it's okay to do that. That hurt, and you're not hurting somebody just because of one thing. I mean, these, two of the people that I know did this over the past couple hours were people who were intoxicated, whether it was with drugs, whether it was alcohol, whatever, but you were intoxicated, but unemployed. So who gave you that? Who's funding that?
Absolutely.
Who's fueling you? Who gives you the comfort zone to say, it's okay, today you can just, So we're going to go into these very uncomfortable discussions to create the shift and change. But do you think community will listen to us?
Well, look, I've now, especially after the last two incidences, which were like so close to home.
Absolutely.
And I've been saying to communities that why is it that when a victim succumbs to GBV, then we're very quick to hide behind, and the reason why I'm saying hide, we want to hide to say, why didn't they speak up, and this and that and the other, but you knew about it.
Yes.
That's the truth of the matter.
Yes.
You hear your neighbor when they're crying out. You see the shift and change. When you see your neighbor walking out with sunglasses on a dull day,
The signs.
you know what is going on. When you see the shift in behavior, but we choose to keep quiet because we don't want to get involved. And the only time we want to get involved is when it reaches not even our doorstep anymore, when that door opens and it is in your house. So we now need to go back to basics.
Yes. Going back to basics.
Yeah, where your door, I know I can walk across the road, and if I just want an hour's bit of sleep, I can get sleep. If I want to talk, I will talk. If not, I must let you be. Sleep, because you want that safety, you want that comfort so that you can go back and then now think, okay, fine, what is a way out? And when the person is ready to talk because they trust you. Remember, a person is not going to talk to you if they don't trust you.
Of course.
So once the trust is built and they know that they can trust you and they speak, then you now hold their hand and journey. It's going to be a rocky road up until the end, but they trust you.
Yeah, and you being there is one of the positives that they look forward to. With that trust, I think we're going to have to visit the marketplace, and we shall be back to have this more intense conversation after this. Stay tuned.
It hasn't been easy, but I'll find you somehow. I know the road is long, but it means me getting to you.
Almost 1 in 5 South African children attend school each day without having eaten breakfast. This seriously affects their ability to concentrate and understand lessons. The Al Imdad Foundation's Make Breakfast Possible campaign allows learners to enjoy a high-energy cereal at the start of the school day. Help children to focus on learning and not hunger. Let's make breakfast possible today. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Up next is Kickoff with Buddy Governor. Stay tuned.
اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المرابطين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم شد أسرهم وسدد رميهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم الطف بإخواننا في كل مكان يذكر فيه اسمك يا أرحم الراحمين. استنصروك يا الله فانصرهم. اللهم ارحم الضعفاء والفقراء والمساكين والأيتام والنازحين والمشردين والأسرى يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم أنج المستضعفين من المسلمين في فلسطين. اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا. اللهم كن لإخواننا المرابطين في المسجد الأقصى. اللهم كن لهم ولا تكن عليهم. اللهم فرج همهم، نفس كربهم، داوي جرحاهم، عاف مبتلاهم، اشف مرضاهم، ارحم موتاهم، تقبل شهداءهم.
Warning! Serious deals ahead. The Durban Shopping Festival 2026 edition returns from the 2nd to the 6th of April at the Durban Exhibition Centre, promising a bigger, better and bolder shopping experience featuring top brands, exclusive deals, fashion, home decor, gourmet food and live entertainment. Don't miss out on a chance to explore exciting findings and enjoy non-stop festivities at this 5-day shopping experience. Mark your calendars now.
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban, South Africa.
Yeah. I can never claim anything for myself, 'cause you're the one who gave it all. You told me why am I so comfortable? You already gave me the things that I need, but you told me I can ask for more, like I don't already have it all. You know everything that I'm feeling. My intentions are easy. You're the only one who knows it all.
You're listening to a live broadcast from Radio Al-Ansar, Pietermaritzburg, 105.6 FM.
I don't know why I have been shy. Keep you at a distance. So I am sorry for when I get so damn frustrated.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the BU4U Show with myself, Mehrimia. Thank you so much for that amazing Nasheed Brothers Boo. Always chooses the nice ones, really keeps us going. So we got in studio with us Linda Mtshali, somebody who I really respect with what she does with GBV, and we are talking the U factor about GBV today. And I want to talk to you, Linda, about something that I think is also important. We always talk to teens about this. We talk to general people about this, but we don't ever really align with GBV, and that's technology and social media. Yeah. Do you think that social media, technology, etc., actually influences or perpetuates anything with GBV? What role do you think it plays?
When it comes to technology, it's a double-edged sword for me. On the one good thing, there's now apps that are being developed, which is now that can help, to keep people safe. And then, on the other hand,
I think social media now, though, some of the things, for example, if something is going on and it shows somebody hitting somebody and getting somebody that's positive out of it. It's teaching that is okay as a principle, and the thing also that I think that rears its head when it comes to social media technology, if you are somebody who is only on social media and you're watching this and that's the only thing that keeps you going, you're not going to bother about everything else. And we know social media tendencies can be addictive, almost just as addictive as the drug that you're on or as the alcohol that you consume. But at the end of the day, it also consumes your mind.
Absolutely. And with algorithms there that track actually what you watch, it's now, as you're saying, it's now going to fuel your mind, because everything else now that comes up after that is basically related to the violence.
Yes, it all contributes to it.
And it's now a big joke, and people are always joking about this, and they've got their own funny comments. And that now tells you that it's the norm. The other thing is your stalkers use that to stalk you.
Yes. Yes.
Also from a GBV perspective, you might block your abusive partner, but if they know that, okay, fine, you're a big fan of TikTok and everything else, they use that to stalk you and to inbox you and everything else. So hence I'm saying, it's a double-edged sword, because in as much as it's good, there's also the bad side to it. So we've got to constantly be teaching, what you fuel your mind with. Now if you find yourself in that state, go and find more positive things now to fuel yourself, to make you feel better.
Yeah, something I just want to touch on very quickly. That's with the most recent incident that happened where the lady was killed and her babies as well. Obviously, the most tragic, I think, of every one of them has its own tragedy, but this one I think touched us all more than anything else. But what touched me more, and I think what sparked more of a rage, I think, amongst many of us, is that this lady did take a stand.
Absolutely.
She took her stand. She stood up against what was going wrong with her. She made it possible for that child of hers to be in a safer space. She did the necessary checks.
Absolutely.
You understand? She ticked every box on that checklist to make sure she was moving ahead and her baby was safer, etc. She did all. She's done it all. She's did everything. And yet, she and her babies became the victim. So even when we're going into saying, go and report, go into ABC now, people are going to say, yeah, but guess what? So I'm still saying you still have to do it, though.
No, absolutely.
You still have to do it now, because that is something, for example, in that incident, I truly believe that the fact that that mom took the stand for herself is something that can work for the child to also have that kind of protection forever. It's got to start, though, with the you. You've got to be able to take that. Huge loss, of course. And, we pray for every victim, really. And that's why I'm saying the media, it's so amazing. When we look at the media now, and I'm talking about the social media, the videos that we see. Have you watched how, when something is going wrong with, for example, a Linda, I would be there, but I would rather pick up my phone to video you as opposed to getting in there to try and help you.
Absolutely.
That's what society has become. So then we want to know, why didn't anybody intervene? I was getting it as footage for you. I don't want the footage. I want the person to live. So that's that. And it's really sad for us, because it's a reality. Again, another monster that's resurfacing. But we've got to balance somehow the advocacy for self-care through this. And when you're going through it and you're in the space, you want to look after yourself, that self-care is key. But you also want to avoid the burnout syndrome. Because as I'm looking after myself, when I'm going through this with the narcissist, and this thing continuously happens with me every day, it's actually draining that I got to keep putting on this facade as soon as the child gets in the door. I got to put on the facade when the families are together, because I'm scared of the outcome of, if I speak up, at some point you're going to end up with burnout, and then what? So the self-care becomes key, correct?
Absolutely.
So when us women have to get the support, where do we go? We have to go internally. And that's why today's topic is about you. You have got to see these things that we are talking about. You who are listening to us, whether you're male, female, child, whatever age, if you are listening to us and you're resonating with something that we are talking about, if you are the parent who is doing that and fueling your child's behavior, who refuses to discipline the child because you're scared of the threat that they gave you about how they do ABC to themselves and go and live with that. If you're the parent who's actually fueling the drug issue and you're scared of the outcome if I don't supply. If you are somebody who's in that relationship, is seeing that you're going through all these things, scared of the self-care, but want to know how to, this is for you. We are reaching out to you, creating this awareness for you, because the GBV is not about the violence only, it's about the violation. And I truly, truly am speaking from my heart when I say this to everyone out there. When you allow the violation to be of you internally, then the violence becomes your external outcome. And it starts with you to make that shift. I got to go visit the marketplace again very quickly. And when we come back, we will close with a few comments.
Radio Al-Ansar, 24/7, 365.
قد كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري، فدعائي وابتهالي شاهد لي بافتقاري، فلهذا السر أدعو في يساري وعساري. أنا عبد صار فخري ضمن فقري واضطرار. قد كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري، فدعائي وابتهالي شاهد لي بافتقار، وبما قد حل قلبي من هموم واشتغالي، فتداركني بلطف منك يا مولى الموالي. قد كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري، يا كريم الوجه غثني قبل أن يفنى اصطباري. قد كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري، يا سريع يهزم العسر ويأتي بالذي يرجو جميعا، يا قريبا يا مجيبا يا سميعا يا عليما. قد تحققت بعجزي وخضوعي وانكساري، كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري، لم أزل.
To a live broadcast from Radio Al-Ansar, Pietermaritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're with me, hear me on the BU4U Show here in Pietermaritzburg with Linda Mtshali in the studio as well. And we're talking GBV, the U factor. Linda, just the last thing I want to ask you before I go to close, right? There's myths. There's still the myths that are out there about the GBV. Want to share one of them, or at least some of them, very quickly?
Okay, I think the most common one, which is still there, unfortunately, is that it only happens in poor communities or
Yes.
poor people.
Yes.
And it is a myth. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've dealt with people that are doctors. I've dealt with people that live in high profile places,
Yes.
like your Hiltons and all that,
Yes.
So the myth that it's still only uneducated or poor communities, no.
Yeah, I agree.
Across.
Agree.
One last one, the most common one, she must have done something wrong. And
yes.
unfortunately, even with the case that we had now with mom and the babies, my heart was angry because somebody made that statement. She must have done something
Oh my
wrong.
word. No way.
So,
No way.
yeah.
So these are myths, and people, I think we should do a part 2, seriously, and cover so much more. There's so much more to this topic that needs to be discussed. We will discuss that with Linda and maybe try and get her back, because this is a community radio station. It's about you for the community, and this is something that's rife, especially in PMB right now. We're seeing the stats just escalate. Now, for you, the listeners, Linda Mtshali has prepared something very special for you, and of course, it's the first time I'm going to hear this too. So let's take a listen.
I prepared a little poem, and it's called She Walked a Mile.
Wow.
She walked a mile in broken shoes, through streets that didn't see. She carried silence like a stone and wore it gracefully. Wow. They said, "Why didn't you leave before?" She said he had a key. They said, "It's just a family thing." And that's when she answered, "That is what's killing me." But now she's found a hand to hold, not rescue, just adore. And one by one, we learn to say, "Not in our community anymore."
Wow.
She walked a mile beside her now. So walk a mile beside her now. Don't whisper, don't turn away. First step to ending the night is believing what she says today.
That is powerful. I couldn't have asked for a better way to end the show. That is absolutely impactful and powerful. Then I'm going to ask you to send me that. We're going to publish it. I'm serious. On my different platforms as well. Thank you so much for joining me on the BU4U Show today on Radio Al Ansar. I really think we need to have a part 2 of this with other topics and other things to talk about regarding the same thing. But I really appreciate you taking time to be with us, my sister.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're going to do our other programs that are going to have to come up as well. So to all the viewers listening to us, you got to stay tuned to Radio Al Ansar for many more amazing things coming up. Got to also tell you that you got to be, where are you if you are not at the Durban Shopping Festival, because that is happening right now, and you need to make your way down there to the Durban Exhibition Center. You got some amazing deals. They said there's some special offers, and I've heard this. And you know what? There's people who are meeting there after very long. There's loved ones who are catching up. You got to go. You got today, you got tomorrow, you got tonight, you got tomorrow night, you got Monday. You have to get yourself there. That's the Durban Shopping Festival, which is happening at the moment. Where are you if you are not there? You got to make your way there, right? As long as you're staying tuned to Radio Al Ansar all the time, that's going to be your best. So, time to remember that, you know what? Every one of us has to take away something. I took away a lot from Linda. We always keep learning, and everything is about lessons. I take them for myself first, inshallah. So I'm hoping that your day is going fantastic so far, and it's going to get even better. I do know my amazing brother is coming up after this, Brother Buddy, with Kickoff. Amazing. And you know what I love about his show? The reality points. But beside that, my daughter waits for the Formula One, but beside that, those are sheets, my brother, really. Anyway, I leave you all with a request for du'as, inshallah, for everybody in the Ummah, the entire Ummah, including and especially all of our brothers and sisters in the war-torn areas of every war-torn area. No matter where they are, we're praying for peace, and we, of course, never forget our people of Gaza. Ameen. Allahumma ameen. Remember me too, as I will remember you. Jazakallah khair to Brother Kumalo here again, and of course, my brother Spoo there in Durban. You guys are amazing, and Spoo, those in the sheets. Thank you so much, my brother. Love them. Don't forget, you have to keep it locked onto this dial, because there's amazing stuff coming up, and you have to make your way down to the Durban Shopping Festival. That's at the Durban Exhibition Center. From myself, Meher Mia, I'm going to say to you, you've got to stay tuned to listen to me again on Wednesday at 12 o'clock, because that's when you get us with PMB Connect. Until then, astawdiullah hadinaka wa amanataka wa khatima amalika. Ameen ya Rabbul Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Is greater than everything that I fear, everything that I try to